Local news, national news, even feel-good news. Delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
All right, personal note here. It's not my personal note, but for Brian in our chat group, Brian Cheshire writes that today is the 23rd anniversary with his wife. Brian and I don't know your wife's name, but Brian, congratulations. 23 anniversary, 23 years. Good for you. My name is Joe Kelley. Thank you so much for joining us here on a Friday afternoon. It's warm outside, man. 90 degrees right now, partly sunny skies. The cooler air is not going to come until we get into after the weekend, I regret. Like Monday, Tuesday, and we're going to have fall again. Remember, do you guys happen to remember fall last week? That day and a half of fall, that was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed that. We'll have another day and a half of fall coming up next week, too, so that's kind of cool.
I get to wear my socks with sandals.
Yes. You'll have to wear your socks with sandals.
And my short-sleeve shirts and not my tank tops. Okay,
yes, that's what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a short-sleeve shirt today, actually. All right, Channel 9 Eyewitness News Politico reporter Christopher Heath is joining us live now. And, Chris, even as we come on the air, we have kind of breaking news. And not that we have a new Speaker of the House, but we're closer, Chris, to having a new Speaker of the House. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I would like your definition for the word closer, because I feel like you're really stretching the word closer. I mean, it's been 10 days. Jim Jordan is like 60 votes short of the speakership. The House Republicans have decided to go home for the weekend. So, we're closer.
So for anybody who just got into their car and they have missed all of the news of the day today, let's back everything up here for just a minute and tell everybody where we are then right now when it comes to House leadership.
Well, right now we are still where we were yesterday and the day before. I mean, essentially the House is looking for a speaker. Nobody can get the necessary 217 votes that they would need given where the numbers are at right now. Republicans are the majority, so it's up to them to pick a speaker. And right now the Republican caucus in D.C. cannot really coalesce around one person. You're seeing different factions emerge. Steve Scalise out of Louisiana was kind of leading the way for a while, but could not get there, so he pulled out. Jim Jordan out of Ohio is kind of the front runner now, but still well short of getting the numbers he's going to need. Kevin McCarthy, the speaker who was speaker 11 days ago, but then got ousted by his own caucus. Essentially he's said he doesn't want it. So it's a position that people say they want, but nobody can get their necessary votes to do it. And until they do, one of the two chambers of our Article 1 branch of government is not functioning.
Yeah, well, boy, that's not the understatement of the year. I don't know what is. And for some reason, I in my mind, I imagine Matt Gaetz has one of these little evil handlebar mustaches, right? And he's got a grenade, and he pulls the pin, throws the grenade, and then he's nowhere to be seen. I mean, Matt Gaetz started this whole thing. Where is he?
Well, and that's it. I mean, he's thrown his support behind Jim Jordan. Not that that's done Jordan any good towards becoming speaker, because I think there's a feeling within the Republican caucus of, well, hold on, why are we going to reward the guys who blew everything up, a week and a half ago by putting them back in charge? And there's also the realization, listen, no matter who emerges as the Speaker of the House, the Democrats control the Senate, and the Democrats control the White House. So if you put somebody in as speaker who is going to be, my way or the highway, it's only going to go so far because you're one of two chambers. You still have to work with the other part of the government. And so, it's just they're looking at it and they're seeing the same basic hard math that Kevin McCarthy saw when he first became speaker, and it took 15, ballots to finally become speaker. The numbers are not great, and you have a core of the Republican caucus that's like, listen, we need to get back to business. We need to get back to doing what we want to do. And then you have, half dozen to a dozen members who are like, no, we want what we want. And if we don't get it, we're going to shut everything down and we don't care what happens. And that's where they're stuck right now.
So Jim Jordan is then a nominee for House Speaker, voted on by whom? What caucus was that voted for him?
It's the Republican caucus. A lot of the Democrats at this point have no real say in this because they're the minority party within the House. So they're basically sitting back and waiting for the GOP to coalesce around somebody.
Oh, I don't think they're just sitting back. I think they're sitting back laughing. I think they're sitting back enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. You and I talked about this when, Kevin McCarthy got ousted by Matt Gaetz and his crew, a week and a half ago. And I made the comment that, in politics, they always say, like, when your opponent is, falling, you sit back and you let them do it.
Yep.
And so for Democrats in the House, they can sit back and just let the Republicans implode and just eat popcorn and watch the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems frustrating on behalf of Republicans to see that not only are we terribly divided as a nation, I mean, we could not be more divided as a nation 50-50, and we've been that way for quite a few years now. Then we've got a divided government as we've got Republicans that have the House, Democrats have the Senate, so we've got a divided Congress. And then of course we've got a divided House to the White House as we got a Democrat in the White House and Republican leadership in the U.S. House. I mean, we are so terribly divided right now. And then the GOP itself is divided. I mean, it just is a terrible time for America. We have no unity on anything.
No, and I mean, what really I think is, just from a pure, kind of blocking and tackling is, as we look out at what's happening in the Middle East and the situation continues to deteriorate there, if Congress needs to act to do something to protect Israel, or if we have a full-fledged humanitarian crisis where Palestinians are fleeing to get away from Hamas and Congress is called upon to do something, we have one chamber right now that cannot do anything. They can't. There's no way for them to do anything because they do not have a speaker. They can't even pass go to begin because they don't have a speaker. So that's where we're at right now. And that was kind of the thing that people said when Matt Gaetz and his group initially helped oust Kevin McCarthy was, what's the plan to get the chamber back up and running? And they didn't have one. And people at the time said, you should hope that we don't have a crisis between now and when we have a speaker. Well, we haven't a crisis. And that's where we're at right now without having a speaker. The House can't do anything.
On any other given day, week, or month, I would be likely to applaud gridlock in D.C. I would be happy to see nothing getting done. I would welcome a government shutdown. But as you allude, this is a terrible, terrible time to have this level of dysfunction.
It is, and you look out at it, and of course Congress operates the way Congress does. But there is precedent out there in other chambers, other state legislative chambers, and also in Congress as well, for if you were to find maybe a unity candidate, and this is somebody who could get maybe 2/3 or so of Republicans and maybe 1/3 of the Democrats. And then basically you look at the far left and you say, you know what, we don't need your votes. And you look at the far right and you say, we don't need your votes. We have a chunk here in the middle. We're going to put a Republican up there because they hold the majority, but it's going to be a moderate Republican who's going to give concessions to the Democrats, give concessions to the Republicans, and basically ignore the far left that's lighting their hair on fire and ignore the far right that wants to burn the place to the ground. You could do that, but that would require some adults in the room. And right now.
There's
so,
not one to be seen.
I submitted my application on LinkedIn. I haven't heard back.
To be Speaker of the House?
Yeah.
Hey,
I brushed it up.
You're as qualified as anybody else at this point. It just seems to be going nowhere. If you're just joining us here on the Joe Kelley Show, we're talking to Channel 9 Eyewitness News political correspondent Christopher Heath, and we're talking about whether or not the U.S. House is going to eventually at some point have a speaker of the House, a leader of that. Kind of walk us through a timeline here. It's frustrating to think that the House caucus has nominated Jim Jordan, but they're not going to stay here through the night and hash this out and cast a vote. They're going home.
Well, he's about 60 or so votes short. And I think if he was within single digits, they'd probably stick around. When you're 60 short, I mean, out of a voting group that's going to need to be about 217, you're just not close enough. It's not like if we stick around for another hour, we can get this done. We are so far from the finish line. Let's just, put a pin in it. We'll come back. seems to be about kind of the attitude right now, and that's part of it. It's the simple math. It's the arithmetic of having a very slim majority, which is what Republicans have in the House, and so you're basically operating with what you've got, and what you've got is a very, very slim majority. And given the numbers, there's just enough members out there who can disrupt the whole process.
So what is the difference between casting a vote today and Monday? What is going to change for those 60 votes that he's short?
You know, it's Congress. They've got plans. They've got fundraisers. They need to get back to their district to do whatever they need to do.
No, I understand
Maybe
that.
cooler heads will prevail.
Okay.
Maybe arms will get twisted. Deals will get cut. This is the great, smoke-filled back room where all deals get done, and that's kind of what they're probably going to be doing over the weekend, is calling around and trying to figure out, okay, if not Jim Jordan, is there somebody we can all agree upon to just get the chamber back open?
Because the optics of this are just terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. No, this is absolute dysfunction. And I think it's one of those things where, I would argue that a government shutdown is also dysfunction. But usually if there's a government shutdown, it's because, somebody's trying to make a stand of, I want this repealed or I want this done. And they've got I need this done and I am willing to go to the mat to get this done. When you look at what we're seeing right now in the House, I think a lot of people are sitting back and saying, what are you fighting for? I can see you're fighting, but I don't know what you're fighting for exactly. And that seems to be, I think, where a lot of people are feeling frustration.
As always, great information. Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath, the most handsome political reporter you're going to find on TV. Still have the beard.
You can't say that enough.
You still have the beard, yes?
I do. I'm thinking about shaving it for Halloween. I may go as Severus Snape for Halloween.
Okay.
And obviously, Alan Rickman didn't have a beard.
No.
So.
All right. Well, Chris, as always, it's great talking to you, and we appreciate very much your expertise.
Joe, have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. All right, 844-580-WDBO. It's 844-580-9326. You can use the open mic in the WDBO app. It is a Friday afternoon. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to have our Friday movie quote trivia. That'll be coming up next hour. I have spent the entire day today gathering movie clips to be able to challenge Laurel, Paul, and Greg for our movie trivia coming up in the next hour. And I think I'm going to stump them on a number of them. It's always my goal. I try to throw in some easy ones. That means there'll be some Star Wars ones in there. Those are gimmies to Laurel. So, because she's got, every one of those committed to memory. She could write the books. All right, coming up next here, as always, we'll have the stories that you missed while you were at work today. That's coming up next on WDBO.
It's intern John. Celebrate the coziest season with Safeway. They're bringing all the fall flavors to you. From pumpkin everything to caramel apples and all of your seasonal favorites. Make the most of those fireside dinners, game-winning touchdowns, and warm family gatherings. Visit your neighborhood Safeway today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. They're here to help you spice, season, and savor every moment. Sincerely, Safeway.
Now, the three big things you need to know.
3. Soccer star Lionel Messi came off the bench in the second half as Argentina defeated Paraguay 1-0 in a World Cup qualifying match Thursday night. Argentina took the lead early, and Messi, who's been recovering from a leg injury, played a lively 40 minutes after intermission. 2. Leaders in New York City are pushing to suspend the city's right to shelter policy as the immigration crisis grows. The law says anyone in New York City can access guaranteed shelter. There are more than 60,000 migrants in New York City shelters. 1. Just over a dozen Americans in Israel are unaccounted for. President Biden spoke with their families during a virtual meeting today. The president assured the families the U.S. is doing everything they can to bring them home.
Matt Gaetz is an absolute creep, and I'm not voting for him anymore, and I would recommend everybody else find someone else to vote for. He does not deserve to be there.
Well, look, I might agree with you about Matt Gaetz, but the odds are very, very good that you're not voting for Matt Gaetz as it is anyway. As Matt Gaetz represents a district up in the Panhandle, he doesn't represent any part of Central Florida. So we don't typically get Matt Gaetz on our ballot anyway. But you could certainly go up to his district and campaign against him if you wanted to do so. But he is not going to be on our ballots here in Central Florida.
stepping out of the office elevator and into today's top stories.
Well, here are the stories that you missed while you were at work today. There was a lot of them. 8 hours ago, CNN reported that unions that represent 75,000 workers at Kaiser Permanente have reached a tentative deal following the largest healthcare strike in U.S. history. Somebody asked me, by the way, Joe, why are there so many strikes and stuff going on right now? Go back to the pandemic and inflation. That's why. Because of the pandemic and inflation, it has really changed everybody's work environment, and everybody wants a new deal at work because working from home, and then, of course, with the introduction of artificial intelligence and robotics and stuff like that, so much has changed. That's why we're seeing all these labor strikes right now. 8 hours ago, Newsmax reported that Israel's military told some 1 million Palestinians today to evacuate northern Gaza, head to the southern part of the territory. 8 hours ago, Microsoft completed its $69 billion purchase of Activision Blizzard after a nearly 2-year fight with global regulators that threatened to scuttle the deal. Activision Blizzard, if I'm not mistaken, is the maker of Call of Duty. So that's a big video game that Microsoft is now going to own. 6 hours ago, Israeli news reported that sirens were sounding in Tel Aviv and nearby cities as Hamas resumed rocket fire at central Israel on Friday. So if you think that Hamas is finished with their attack on Israel, you are mistaken. They are not finished. 6 hours ago, Israel News reported that a blast tore through the separation fence along Israel's northern border with Lebanon. That's where Hezbollah resides. So we got Hamas to the south and Hezbollah to the north. Israeli artillery forces are firing at targets as Lebanese media reported fire ongoing between Israeli forces and Hezbollah terrorists. 4 hours ago, IDF carried, by the way, IDF is Israeli Defense Forces. That's their version of the army, their military, carried out localized raids within the outskirts of the Gaza Strip as part of an effort to locate the missing people. 4 hours ago, a journalist killed, 6 others wounded when an Israeli shell landed on a group of international journalists that were covering the clashes on the border of South Lebanon. Again, that's where Hezbollah is. 3 hours ago, this was so horrible, and I saw the pictures and images. Hamas today released video and picture images of terrorists holding Israeli toddlers and children during mass infiltration and massacres of Israelis. These are just horrible. You got these Hamas terrorists literally with their rifles in one arm and a baby in the other arm. It is sickening. CNN reported 3 hours ago that the Biden administration received at least 2 assessments warning of an increased risk in the weeks ahead of the attacks on Israel. One wonders if the Biden administration told Israel about that. 48 minutes ago, you heard it here on WDBO, and the Associated Press reported that Republicans have chosen Jim Jordan, a staunch ally of Donald Trump, as their nominee for House Speaker during internal voting. A vote on the House floor between the deeply divided GOP majority could push into next week. It will push into next week. I'm Joe Kelley. You're listening to The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Insightful.
You tell the truth from your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio.
And engaging.
When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
You know, as we get towards the end of the week, I end up with this just big stack of content that I never got around to, that we didn't get on the air yet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I don't mention this today, I'm going to have to throw this all away because it certainly will not be relevant by next week. So let me just throw out a few things here for you. An 8-year-old boy in Israel, as fate would have it, this is in Israel, and it has nothing to do with Hamas and the terror attack. But an 8-year-old boy who was featured in a national campaign to promote COVID vaccines for children has died after suffering a heart attack. This child was 8 years old. You don't hear a lot of 8-year-olds dying from a heart attack. Now, the worse, not only his heart stopped beating, as terrible fate would have it, he was in the bathtub when his heart stopped beating and he went underwater, and so he drowned. but yet it was a heart attack that caused him to go underwater and drown. He was kept on life support for a few days, and then they finally pulled him off of life support. How absolutely terrible. But this kid was literally the poster child for vaccinations for children for COVID. I know a lot of people believe, and I've seen research that backs it up, that the COVID vaccine itself can cause heart problems in both adults and children. In Georgia, a mother is now charged, a 29-year-old mom is charged with murder after leaving her 1-year-old son in a hot car Tuesday this week. The temperatures outside were in the 80s. They say in the car it gets to be 20 degrees hotter inside the car, so then it gets up, to the hundreds inside the car. And she left her daughter to die. It was her daughter to die in a hot car. So she's now been charged with murder. Murder, that's not typically what they charge parents with when a child is left in a hot car. Usually it's involuntary manslaughter, something along those lines, or maybe even second-degree murder. But this is first-degree murder. That is interesting. I'm sure there are extenuating circumstances. It's just not in the article that I have read. I'm sure there's probably drugs involved or alcohol involved or something else that would cause extenuating circumstances. We also, of course, got some open mics here about the Speaker of the House.
It's funny that when the government shuts down or we don't have a Speaker of the House of Representatives, all the media and the Washington, D.C., inside the Beltway crowd is all in an uproar and throwing tantrums and making such a big deal about it. And for us everyday Americans, basically, it has no impact. It's probably better if none of that operates in the long run to keep out of our lives.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was getting at with Channel 9 Eyewitness News political reporter Christopher Heath, and that is on any other given day, who would care if we had a Speaker of the House or not? Who would care if the House was dysfunctional or not? Who would care if we had a government shutdown or not? But with this global crisis that's taking place right now with Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah and everything else, and then, of course, the war in Ukraine. Let's not forget about that. And then, as I said a couple of days ago, if I was China, I would absolutely pull the trigger right now on Taiwan. What a perfect time for China to step up their game. Because of the United States' level of dysfunction right now. So it's just it's a bad look. It's bad optics. It's a bad look for the United States for us to be so thoroughly dysfunctional right now. By the way, Paul Cross, as we're talking about traffic tonight, the Jonas Brothers are playing at the Amway Center. And I've got a question that maybe somebody can answer for me. Why are the Jonas Brothers playing at the Amway Center tonight and Monday night? Why is that happening? I have never.
Unless they sold out the first show and then added one, and the only one they could add was Monday. There might be something already scheduled there Sunday. I don't know.
Usually, when a touring act is going to book, but if they know that they could book multiple dates, like Taylor Swift has done. You only book it when you can get adjacent dates. You don't book it when you if you're not going to be able to expand your concert. Otherwise, what are they going to do on the 14th, 15th? Does that mean that the Jonas Brothers are going to be hanging out in Orlando all weekend long? Is that not possible then?
Not that I'm going to look here and see what their schedule is like. Sometimes that kind of stuff happens though. They don't expect to sell out. And then when the demand has it, they say, well, we got to add a date to this. And then they don't have a date except for Monday, say. So I'm going to look this up.
It just seems like that really lacks productivity. They've got 2 down dates. And I know, Laurel, you're like the president of the Jonas Brothers fan club.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So I would imagine that you're going to be out just all over Orlando trying to find them Saturday and Sunday while they wait for their next concert on Monday.
Be live tweeting my search.
So from what I just
they're playing Miami.
Wait,
Paul's got it. Yep.
So they're playing Miami tomorrow?
Yeah, so they scheduled Amway Center tonight. They're playing Miami tomorrow, and they probably added another date in Orlando for Monday.
They were in Tampa last night.
So
Tampa,
they're just bouncing around the state.
I'm sorry, but that is so inefficient. That's terribly, terribly inefficient. So they're going to set up the entire concert tonight. Tonight, after the concert wraps up, they're going to break down the entire concert, move it to Miami, do a Miami show Saturday night. Do they have a Sunday night show?
No, it doesn't say anything about Sunday.
So they'll take the day off on Sunday. That's when Laurel's going to be
hanging out with them.
Tracking them down. And then they're going to set back up again on Monday.
Yeah,
at the
I feel
Amway
so
Center.
sorry for them, Joe. Oh my gosh, I feel sorry for them.
And I guess if you're the Jonas Brothers, it doesn't make a difference. You're doing a concert no matter what. But then I guess for the people that are setting up the stages, they're probably all union workers anyway. They're going to get paid. It's good for business, I suppose. Tearing down, it just seems a terribly inefficient way to have concerts by taking doing a Friday night here and then coming back and doing Monday night again.
Now I've done a little bit of work of this kind of stuff on the side, and they'll have multiple of these trucks going out everywhere. So they'll have a whole set of their own trucks headed to Miami. They'll have a whole set of their own trucks headed to Tampa. The stuff that's already here in Orlando is probably going to stay in Orlando. They're just going to leave it.
So they have more than one stage set up?
Oh, yeah. And everywhere you go has
a
their
lot
own
of the
set.
bigger acts do. When you see the huge stage acts, sometimes they have two rigs. While they're in Orlando, the second unit is already on their way to Jacksonville to set up starting early the next morning. So they do have that on some of the bigger shows. Well, I haven't seen a Jonas Brothers show in probably a decade, so I don't know what they're doing now, but I would assume it's pretty big.
I'm sorry, you went to the Jonas Brothers concert?
No, I bought tickets to the Jonas Brothers for my daughter, and my wife and I and daughter went to Tampa.
Aww.
We got into the amphitheater down there, and the rain started so badly, the whole entire bottom of the amphitheater was flooded, 2 or 3 feet of water, and the whole thing was canceled.
Was that the Emilius?
No,
arena?
that was the outdoor
Emily Arena.
Yeah, the outdoor amphitheater, the fairgrounds right across from Hard Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible, and that's the only time I had an opportunity to go see the Jonas Brothers. God bless them. So.
Yeah, I think I know they're kind of a fledgling band. I think they're going to make it, though. I think they're eventually. I think eventually they're going to catch on. You know, we were early adopters to the phenomenon of the Joe Bros, but. We'll see if they turn out to be anything decent. Time will tell. By the way, I don't know if you follow the Elon Musk's Neuralink program. So Elon Musk's has got a lot of different projects, as you well know. He's got the whole Tesla thing. He's dabbling in space exploration with SpaceX. But he's also got this thing called Neuralink, and it's supposed to be a brain implant that can be used to treat serious brain diseases. But it's also... there's the eventual goal of human enhancement so that you could have a brain implant that might, say, help you remember people's names or help you on the battlefield be a better soldier or help you, be able to see things better, remember things better, that kind of stuff. But there's a problem with Neuralink, and it has to do with their monkey testing. When you find out what happened to the monkeys that they tested Neuralink on, you really, really might think twice as they move on to human testing, which, by the way, they've now moved on to human trials. Okay? So hang on. I'm going to break it all down for you. Well, actually, Elon Musk has already broke it all down for the monkeys, but I'll break it down for you coming up next. Stay with us here on The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Breaking news to lively debates, covering the issues that matter to you.
I make it a point to listen to Joe Kelley when I need to fully understand what's happening in the news.
Now, The Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
I used to live in San Antonio, Texas, and in San Antonio there was this nondescript building that really didn't have any markings on it. And the dirty little secret in town was that inside the building, they did monkey testing. They weren't testing monkeys. They were testing things on monkeys. They were testing, surgical procedures. They were testing drugs. They were testing cosmetics or whatever it is they test on monkeys. And at one point, some of the monkeys had escaped, and that's when everybody found out what was actually going on inside that building. And it reminded me, I don't know, did you guys ever see the movie The Rise of the Planet of the Apes? That was The Rise of the Planet. That was the one with that one guy that has the brother that's also an actor. What's his name?
Franco.
Yeah, James Franco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and The Rise of the Planet of the Apes, that whole trilogy, incidentally, I love that trilogy. It really kind of tells you the story of how we got to the 1970s version of the Planet of the Apes. It's like it's 3 prequels, which I thought were great storytelling. But I bring this up because Elon Musk's Neuralink device is moving on to human trials now. And reportedly, they killed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of monkeys during the monkey testing phase of it. And they have given great details on one of the monkeys that they said that the brain implant deformed and ruptured a monkey's head in a gruesome way. Investigations into the device reveal that the animal testing went awry with a female macaque. What kind of monkey? What are they called?
I think it is a macaque, yes.
Because the macaque is a bird, right?
It's a parrot.
Yeah, so a macaque suffered severe cerebral swelling. The trials were conducted at the California National Primate Research Center at UC Davis by Neuralink scientists that left the 7-year-old monkey with severe neurological defects. The female monkey spent its last day alive seizing and vomiting and lost control of its right leg, shaking uncontrollably and appearing to have trouble breathing. The postmortem found that the leaked adhesive from the implant had inflamed part of the brain that secretes the cerebrospinal fluid. The effects were so severe that the rear of the monkey's brain protruded from its skull. Wow, that just sounds terrible. So,
Is it 6 o'clock yet?
Yes,
Can we start having fun now?
Right. So this is terrible.
Friday.
So they're looking for humans that want to volunteer for implants. Would you volunteer? Look, I would love to have some sort of neurological implant as well to make me superhuman. I want to be a superhero, but I think they're going to kill a whole lot of people before they get to that point. All right, so coming up in our next hour, fine, Paul. Fine. Just throw this away. All right, it's in the garbage can. All right, no more.
First movie is Planet of the Apes. I know that already.
Planet of the Apes. Rise of the
Right.
Actually, I think one of the movies is from Planet of the Apes.
Damn dirty ape.
Get your hands off me. Okay, so hang on. It is Friday, and we do like to lighten things up in our last hour on a Friday because it has been a long, miserable week. Let's be honest. So we're going to have our movie quote trivia for you coming up in the next hour. Everybody get a piece of paper and a pencil and get ready. We'll do it for you coming up next.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
All right, they're officially calling this a crash on the Turnpike northbound after Hancock. Police have all lanes closed. Only the right lane is open on the approach to Hancock, and then they're pushing everybody off at Hancock. So here we are with a huge backup all the way into Lake County, and then they have more lanes shut down as you go further north. So the Turnpike is not a good option for you this afternoon. You may want to take 50 all the way to 33 Bluff Lake Road to get back up to that north area, because this is just basically a mess, and it's a Friday, so oh boy. ProTech Air Conditioning and Plumbing Service for honesty, integrity, and 100% customer satisfaction. Call ProTech 407-291-1644 or visit ProTechAC.com. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
Red alert from the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center.
Yeah, never a good sound, especially on a Friday afternoon. But if you are leaving Orange County and going up to Lake County, ooh, ouch. The Turnpike completely shut down northbound before Hancock. And then as you get up even further north, it's all shut down again by a couple of crashes here. So you start to find brake lights here before Colonial, but you may want to jump off on Colonial and head up north on Highway 27. There's just no other way to get up there in a hurry. It's just going to be stopped for you. We also have a wreck 436 northbound at Jamestown. That's got 2 left lanes closed. This report sponsored by Fresh from Florida. At freshfromflorida.com, you can see what's in season, recipes that feature local ingredients, and more. Also, join the Fresh Club today from freshfromflorida.com. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. Join the conversation now by using the open mic in the WDBO app. Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's news and talk, WDBO.
Honestly, it's the hour we look forward to all week. It's the last hour of the last day of the work week. It is the 6 o'clock hour. It's the fun and games hour on a Friday, late afternoon, early evening. My name is Joe Kelley, and we have our movie quote trivia for you this hour. So everybody within the sound of my voice, get a pencil and paper because you're going to be writing down the names of the movies that you think these movies are, okay? Our contestants are as follows. Laurel Lee. Hello, Laurel.
Hello there.
Paul Cross, I love your hat.
Yep, this is my movie hat tonight, trying to bring me luck.
Perfect. And Greg Rhodes.
Here we go.
All right, are you guys ready? I have 26 movie quotes for you guys to identify. And we'll do it in chunks. I'll do about 10 each, okay? So I'm gonna play the movie quote. You're gonna write it down, what you think it is. And then after you have written them all down, after everybody, and that goes for you if you're driving your car, everybody in your car, pull over right now. You're not getting anywhere anyway, as Paul Cross
Unless you're
said.
on the turnpike, you're already pulled over, so no problem there.
Pull over your car. I don't want you driving while, writing things down while you're driving, but everybody pull over now, get a pencil and paper, and get ready to write these down. Here is your first movie quote. And I'm telling you right now, some of these are really, really hard. Some of these are going to be pretty easy. Your mileage may vary. Here is cut number 1.
Doesn't it ever wake you up in the middle of the night? The feeling that one day they'll come for you and your children. It does indeed. What do you do when you wake up to that? I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul that comes to my school.
Got it? That's a head scratcher, isn't it? I think that's a harder one. It's one of my favorite movies, incidentally, so I pulled that one on purpose. All right, here's your second movie. Listen carefully.
Are you an angel? What? An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe. They live on the moons of Viego, I think.
You're a funny little boy. How do you know so much?
I listen to all the traders and star pilots who come through.
All right, hope you got that one. Laurel. I saw Laurel's face light up the second I hit that one, so that should give you a little bit of a hint there.
Okay, that's your one, Laurel. You can go home now.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, here's your third movie.
So, when can you start? Well, actually, Arthur and I were thinking of taking a little skiing holiday up in the Canadian Rockies.
No!
Sorry. We just...
Need you to get that marketing done on the new line pronto.
No problem. You know, I...
Hope you got it. All right, here is your fourth movie quote.
Where are your parents? Your mother? Your father?
He didn't wake up.
Are you alone? Do you live up here all by yourself?
All right, giving you time to write it down.
I just watched that movie yesterday.
Did you really? Wow. All right,
here I think I've had it up on Greg. I go, okay, I got this one. And Greg comes, so it just crosses me off.
Okay. All right, here's your fifth movie.
And what are these?
The real question is, what are those? Why do you have your toes out in my lap?
But you don't like my royal sandals. I wanted to go old school for my first day.
I bet the elders loved that.
I will tell you that of the 5 movie cuts we've played so far, regrettably, 2 of the actors are dead. If that gives you any hints whatsoever. All right, here's your 6th movie.
She wants to go with you. She just doesn't know it yet. That's why we got to show her that you are a fighter. You're somebody who's going to stand up for yourself, somebody who's going to protect her. Yeah, but I've never picked a fight in my entire life. Look, you're not going to be picking a fight, Dad. Daddy-o.
Daddy-o. All right, here is your 7th movie clip.
There was one time when we were children, he transformed himself into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes. So I went to pick up the snake to admire it, and he transformed back into himself, and he was like, yeah, it's me. And he stabbed me. We were 8 at the time.
If we're boosting his ship, we're going to need to draw some guards away from the palace.
Why not set the beast loose? Shut up.
Here's one, your 8th movie clip. I'll tell you right now, I would never have gotten this one. Listen carefully. Here's your 8th movie.
What do you say? I did find your bracelet.
You did not find it. You stole it.
Correction, the monkey stole it.
He's your monkey.
He's still just a monkey.
Who ordered the tea?
I
did.
Okay. Here is your 9th movie. Hope you guys got that one. I'll give you time to write it down. I can see you're still writing.
You look down, they know you're lying. And up, they know you don't know the truth. Don't use 7 words when 4 will do. Don't shift your weight. Look always at your mark, but don't stare. Be specific, but not memorable. Be funny, but don't make him laugh. He's got to like you and then forget you the moment you've left his sight. And for God's sake, whatever you do.
Here's one of the funniest lines of that movie. Whatever you do, and then he never finishes that line. All right, here's your 10th one, and I guarantee you I would not have gotten this one.
How do you know?
I saw it.
Where?
In his pocket.
All this time.
Yes, isn't it romantic?
No, it's horrid.
I thought you'd be pleased.
At the idea of anybody coming to take Meg away, no thank you.
Oh, I feel better about it when somebody comes to take you.
All right, there's your first 10 movies. I hope you have the answers. Let's go back to the top here. Your first movie.
Doesn't it ever wake you up in the middle of the night? The feeling that one day they'll come for you and your children. It does indeed. What do you do when you wake up to that? I feel a great swell of pity for the poor soul that comes to my school.
Laurel, what movie is it?
Not a clue.
Not a clue. Paul Cross.
Nope, don't know.
Greg Rhodes.
No, I'm not sure.
Wow. That is X-Men Apocalypse. X-Men, no, nothing? Okay. All right, movie number 2.
Are you an angel?
Can I just stop right there? Because I know Laurel already knows what this one is. Laurel, what is that movie?
Star Wars The Phantom Menace.
Paul Cross?
Yep, same one, episode 1.
Greg Rhodes?
Yep, Phantom Menace.
All right, cut number 3.
So, when can you start? Well, actually, Arthur and I were thinking of taking a skiing holiday up in the Canadian Rockies.
All right, Laurel, what movie is that?
Darn it, I know it. It's right there, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Like a monkey's brain. All right, Paul Cross.
Nope.
Greg
Nope.
Rhodes.
Was it RV?
That's a good guess. It's a very good guess. The same actor. Same late actor. That is the original Jumanji. So Robin Williams was in both RV and Jumanji.
That was the very last scene.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, nobody. By the way, you guys got to keep your own score because I am not able to keep your score. I'm very, very busy right now. All right, here is your 4th movie.
Where are your parents? Your mother? Your father?
Laurel, what is that movie?
I don't know.
Paul Cross.
Edward Scissorhands.
That is correct.
Good job, Paul.
Greg Rhodes.
Edward Scissorhands.
All right, very nicely done. You can hear the scissor in the background there on that one. I think this one is a no-brainer.
And what are these?
The real question is, what are those? What?
Laurel, what movie is that?
Black Panther?
Paul Cross.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Greg Rhodes.
Black Panther.
There you go. That was an easy one.
She wants to go with you. She just doesn't know it yet. That's why we got to show her that you are a fighter. You're somebody who's going to stand up for yourself, somebody who's going to protect her. Yeah, but I've never picked a fight in my entire life. Look, you're not going to be picking a fight, Dad. Daddy-o.
That's so funny, isn't it? Laurel, what is that movie?
Back to the Future?
You see that with a question mark.
That's because it's a period. I was like, is it 2? I'm just going to say it's number 1. It's
Okay,
Back to the Future.
Paul Cross?
Back to the Future.
No question mark there?
No question mark.
Greg Rhodes.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. It is. That's exactly right. All right, number 7.
There was one time when we were children, he transformed himself into a snake, and he knows that I love snakes. So I went to pick up the snake to admire it, and he transformed back into himself, and he was like, yeah, it's...
Laurel, what movie is that?
I know that's Thor. Is it Love and Thunder?
All right, Paul Cross.
I don't know.
Greg Rhodes.
Ragnarok.
It is Thor Ragnarok. It's my favorite Marvel movie is Thor Ragnarok. I will tell you this next one, I would not have gotten this one. Here's your 8th movie.
What did you say? I did find your bracelet.
You did not find it. You stole it.
Correction, the monkey stole it.
Laurel, you seem to know this one.
I actually really enjoyed this one.
You lit up when I started this cut.
Because I was really proud of myself because I did not think I was going to get it.
Oh, good for you.
And I'm like, yay.
Well, let's see if you actually did get it first.
Well, that's true. So it's the live-action remake of Aladdin.
That's right. Disney's Aladdin.
That is correct.
Paul Cross, you had that too?
Yep. Yeah,
Greg Rhodes, you had that too?
I did not.
Oh, okay. Paul, have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah. A few times.
And I will tell you that I watched just a very tiny little bit of it just for that cut, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I know people are like, about Disney live-action remakes, but that one's really good.
Yeah, I think I might put that on my list of movies that I might want to see at some point. All right, here's movie number 9.
You look down, they know you're lying. And up, they know you don't know the truth. Don't use 7 words when 4 will do.
Laurel, what movie is that?
Oh, I know it's George Clooney, and I wrote down Ocean's 11, and then I wrote down Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I'm just going to say Ocean's 11.
All right, Paul Cross?
That's the only one I could think of is Ocean's 11 as well.
Greg Rhodes?
I also went with Ocean's 11.
Okay, first of all, that is not George Clooney.
No, that's Brad Pitt.
That's Brad Pitt.
That's Brad Pitt.
Okay. George Clooney is in Ocean's 11, and the movie is Ocean's 11.
I guess you're right. I get the point anyway.
So good job, you guys. You guys all got that one right. All right, here is the last movie for this segment, and there is not a chance in 10 million years that I would have got this one right.
How do you know?
I saw it.
Where?
In his pocket.
All this time.
Yes, isn't it romantic?
No, it's horrid.
I thought you'd be pleased.
At the idea of anybody coming to take Meg away, no thank you.
Oh, I feel better about it when somebody comes to take you.
All right, Laurel, you probably have the best chance of getting this one right. What is this?
I can tell it's an animated movie, but I have no idea what it is.
Okay, Paul Cross.
I really don't know. I'm sorry.
Greg?
Is it Monster House?
I've never even heard of that movie.
Okay, fair enough.
All 3 of you are wrong.
It's not an animated film,
it's not an animated film. It is.
No, it's an 80s or 90s. I can't remember the actor's name, but wasn't he McDreamy and
No.
ER? No, it's not this one? Okay,
nope.
never mind.
It's Little Women.
Oh, no. I've never seen that at all.
I would have had my man card revoked if I knew that.
Yeah,
so no,
right.
I'm glad I didn't.
Like, I wouldn't admit I knew that if I did know that movie.
But, Joe, you should watch Monster House because the animation's incredibly creepy.
Monster House is a movie?
Yes.
It's an animated.
It's cute, but it gets what's the syndrome where it looks like human, but they're not quite human.
All 3 of y'all have seen this?
You need to. It's a cute kids movie.
It's a kids movie. What's it on? Is it on Disney Plus or something? Or I'll have to find it. So what's it called? Monster House?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. We'll have segment number 2 of our Friday night Fun and Games movie quote trivia for you. Everybody keep along, keep your score at home, and we will continue. Coming up next, stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Talk and discussion on the latest breaking national news.
Crude oil prices continue to fall.
Local news.
You're not going to have Disney have its own government in Central Florida.
And stories that matter to you. Use the open mic in the WDBO app and let your voice be heard on the Joe Kelley Show.
Friday night Fun and Games. It's our movie quote trivia. Please play along with us in the car. Play along with us at home. Whatever it is you're doing, play along with us. We'd love to have you so that we can... test everybody's movie knowledge. We have Laurel, Paul, and Greg as our contestants here in studio. And here is your next movie.
Do you want to know why I use a knife? Guns are too quick. You can't savor all the little emotions. And you see, in their last moments.
So creepy.
Absolutely one of the greatest
creepy
performances ever, though.
I'm realizing now we've got 3 late actors so far that we've had tonight. I just gave you a big hint, obviously.
Your necklace.
This is your next movie, by the way.
Your necklace. Oh, family heirloom. Funny story, actually. An employee once stole it. No, she did not. Sorry. Slight tone delivery problem. I meant... No, she did not.
I didn't see anybody writing anything down during that movie quote. All right, here's your third one.
I'm afraid, all right? You want to hear me say it? You want to break me down? All right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid, too. There's nothing wrong with being afraid.
There is. For me, there is.
Why, you're human, aren't you?
Look, I don't know what I am. All I know is I'm a liar. And because of that, Mickey ain't here no more.
You didn't push him into anything.
All right, your fourth movie.
So if there was any way we could help him, trust me, I would be up there standing next to you. This, what you're talking about, is impossible.
More like suicide.
All right, that's it for this segment. Now let's go back to the top and see if you know these movies.
Do you want to know why I use a knife?
Laurel, what movie is that?
The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. The end. The Dark Knight. Batman.
That was the longest title of a movie ever. Wow. Paul Cross, what movie was that?
Let me put a Laurel spin on this.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight?
Greg Rhodes, what movie was that?
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight is absolutely right. All right, now here's your next movie.
Your necklace. Oh, family heirloom. Funny story, actually. An employee once stole it.
All right, I would not have gotten this movie. Laura, what movie is that?
Not a clue.
Paul Cross.
Cruella.
Greg Rhodes.
I don't have a guess.
Paul Cross wins again. It is Cruella. You're absolutely right. Here is your next movie.
I'm afraid, all right? You want to hear me say it? You want to break me down? All right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid, too. There's nothing wrong with being afraid.
There is. For me, there is.
Why, you're human, aren't you?
Look, I don't know what I am. All I know is I'm a liar. And because of that, Mickey ain't here no more.
You didn't push him into anything.
Laurel, what movie was that?
Rocky?
She says with a question mark.
I'm not confident.
Paul Cross, what movie is that?
Rocky 4?
Greg Rhodes, what
I
movie?
said Rocky 3.
Rocky 3 is Greg's answer.
That's what it is.
And the correct answer is Rocky 3 is the correct answer.
Yep, it is that.
Yeah, that was Rocky.
I was trying to think of which one Mickey died in. So.
Right. So we stopped there, right? I didn't do the next movie?
One more.
There's one more? Okay, here we go.
So if there was any way we could help him, trust me, I would be up there standing next to you. This, what you're talking about?
All right, Laurel, what movie is that?
I don't know.
Paul Cross, what movie is that?
I don't know.
Greg Rhodes, what movie is that?
No guess.
All right, I would also not. I haven't seen any of these movies. The Maze Runner Scorch Trials. I have never seen that movie, and I had a hard time finding a clip for that movie that you guys might possibly know. But yeah, the Maze Runner, and it's one of the sequels called Scorch Trials. All right, we'll have our third segment of our Friday Night Fun and Games movie trivia coming up next. Stay with us here on WDBO.
Red Alert from the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center.
Well, this red alert is actually in Lake County, but it's affecting Orange County. This is the Turnpike northbound. You're going to find brake lights starting before 429, but once you get to Colonial, there is no looking back. It is just constant red, stop and go all the way up through into Lake County, very deep into Lake County. So a lot of patients involved there. We also have a wreck right now on I-4 westbound. It's on the exit ramp to Conroy Road, and the center lane is blocked. So again, if you're headed up the Turnpike, you may want to stay in town, catch the Jonas Brothers concert tonight. Heck, it may even be there for a couple days. Catch the Jonas Brothers concert on Monday night, and then head up the Turnpike. This report sponsored by HCA Florida Healthcare. Mount Dora Emergency, located near the intersection of Highway 441 and Eudora Road, is now open 24/7. Visit HCAFloridaHealthcare.com to learn more. From the WDBO Triple Team Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. In-depth segments on topics that matter to Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
I love your show every night. You're doing great, bud.
By the way, Paul Cross, do you remember when Depeche Mode was at the Amway Center earlier this week? And I said, man, can Depeche Mode really fill up the Amway Center? You know, that was sold out.
I told you that. I said they're going to sell out.
They did. That just blows my mind. That
they put
Depeche
on a
Mode,
really good show, from what I understand, and they don't come touring very often. So when they do, the fans go see them.
Yeah, you are the concert whisperer, no doubt about that. All right, it's our Friday night fun and games. We've got 30 minutes left here for our movie trivia, and some of these are going to be tough. Some of these are going to be pretty easy. Are you ready? Here's our next movie clip. Listen carefully to this.
I don't want your help. Don't you understand? I have to do this. I have to kill you. He's gonna kill me.
All right, that's it. That was that was movie number 15. Here is movie number 16.
I need you to teach me to dance.
Teach you to dance? When?
Teach me to dance now.
You understand, I've been learning since I was 5.
Good. I'd feared you'd be a terrible teacher.
Nola, what are you doing here?
I'm looking for a murderer. Though I shouldn't have told you that. Forget I told you that. I'm trying to save a girl's life.
Number 17. Movie number 17.
What? Take off the glasses.
Why?
Because I asked you to.
Come on, Ma. It's California, so look.
Take them off. I want to see your baby browns.
Ma, come on with the baby browns.
Are you
right?
on something?
Yeah, I'm on Minute Maid.
Why are you hiding your eyes?
I'm not hiding my eyes.
Then take
Ma.
off the glasses.
Ma, come on.
Now.
Okay, hope you got it. Hope you got it. Here is movie number 18.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Laurel, I quote that movie probably once a week.
Yeah, you sure do. And I was actually just talking about it earlier in the chat today.
Yeah.
For a different reason, but yeah.
All right, here's quote number 19.
You have no style or sense of fashion.
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
I was editor-in-chief of the Daily Northwestern. I also,
You have my sword.
Oh, yeah, forget that last part. That I should have edited that out. The sword part is not in that movie. All right, here's movie number 20.
Ever since I killed those 3 Wall Street guys.
Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline.
There's no punchline. It's not a joke.
Okay. Movie number 21.
Trust your instincts. Don't think, just do. You think up there, you're dead. Believe me.
My dad believed in you. I'm not going to make the same mistake.
Movie 22.
You're gonna kill me like you killed my father.
I'm done trying to convince you.
You took him from me. He loved me.
No, he despised you. You were an embarrassment to him. Oh, look at little Goblin Jr. Gonna cry?
All right, that's it. Let's go back to the first movie here and see what your answers are.
I don't want your help. Don't you understand?
Laurel, you're up first. What movie is that?
The Kingsman?
Paul Cross, what movie is that?
I am going to take a guess and say Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Greg Rhodes, what movie is that?
I have that same guess as Paul, Deathly Hallows Part 1.
So I don't know the series, but it's Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
It's the Half-Blood Prince. It's the one right before Deathly Hallows.
Okay, so that was a different movie then. All right, here's your movie number 16. It's going to be your second one.
I need you to teach me to dance.
Teach you to dance? When?
Teach me to dance now.
Laurel, what movie is that?
I do not know.
Paul Cross.
I'm going to go with Enola Holmes. I think that's Millie Bobby Brown, but I can't tell.
Wow, Greg Rhodes.
I didn't have a guess, but I think Paul's right.
Paul is not right.
No, is it Enola Holmes 2?
Yes.
You are a jerk,
Wow,
Joe Kelley.
yeah.
You're a jerk.
Oh, it's my fault. I'm the bad guy here. Just want to make sure.
These
Okay.
things, they kill me. You're
I am
killing me.
so impressed. You really are the movie whisperer. I keep
You
looking as
are
like, is he
killing me.
looking at my notes? How does Paul know this? All right.
No, I just remember. I've never even seen the movie, Joe. I just
Very
I just
impressive.
recognized her voice and remember seeing the ads on
Millie
Netflix
Bobby
for this
Brown.
movie.
You're absolutely
Okay,
right.
all
The girl
right.
from Stranger Things. All right, here's your next movie.
What? Take off the glasses.
Why?
Because I asked you to.
All right, Laurel, what movie is that?
I don't know.
Paul Cross.
Karate Kid.
Greg Rhodes.
Karate Kid.
There you go. It is Karate Kid. Your next movie.
It can't be bargained with.
That's so easy. Laurel, what is that movie?
Terminator.
What is it, Paul Cross?
The Terminator. Of
Greg
course.
Rhodes.
The Terminator.
All right, the next movie.
You have no style or sense of fashion.
Well, I think that depends on what you're...
No. That wasn't a question.
I got to tell you, for a chick flick, I loved that movie. Laura Lee, what is that movie?
The Devil Wears Prada.
Paul Cross.
Yep, Devil Wears Prada.
Greg Rhodes.
Devil Wears Prada.
I think I might go home and watch that tonight. I thought Devil Wears Prada was such a good movie. All right, here's your 20th movie.
Ever since I killed those 3 Wall Street guys.
Laurel, what movie is that?
I don't know.
Really? Paul Cross.
I don't know either.
Wow, Greg Rhodes.
Joker.
Yes, it's The Joker.
Such a good movie.
I never saw it. I had no desire to see it.
That was so dark.
Very
that's why I didn't see it. It was
Very
just too dark for me. All right, here's your next one.
Trust your instincts. Don't think, just do.
Should be pretty easy. Laurel, what is it?
Oh, it's right on the tip of my brain, but I don't know.
All right, Paul Cross.
Top Gun Maverick.
Greg Rhodes.
No guess. It was Tom Cruise. I know that.
Wow, guys, I thought that was such an easy one. Paul Cross, you're right. It is Top Gun Maverick is exactly right.
Thank God I didn't say Top Gun.
Right, because
So
you
that
would have been
would've
wrong in that
I would
case.
have been wrong.
All right, here's your last movie in this segment.
You're gonna kill me like you killed my father.
I'm done trying to convince you.
All right, Laurel, what movie is that?
Spider-Man 3?
All right, Paul Cross.
There's a question mark again.
It's because I'm never confident.
I'm gonna go with Spider-Man 2.
All right, Greg Rhodes.
That was Spider-Man 3.
That was
Yeah.
Spider-Man
Good.
3.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
do something different.
All right, hang on. We'll wrap up our movie quote trivia. We still have several movies, one of which may be in a Star Wars thing. So hang on. We'll have our last segment coming up next. Don't nobody go nowhere.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. News, weather, traffic, all the things you want on your drive home. Plus, Joe Kelley being, well, Joe Kelley. Now, The Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
All right, we got 4 movies left. Listen carefully. Here is movie number 1.
She was very beautiful, kind, but sad. Why are you asking me this?
I have no memory of my mother.
All right, movie number 2.
You're next, darling. Come into the boat, Rose. Rose? Get into the boat. Rose? Goodbye, Mother.
Movie number 3.
1, 2,
11, 92, 12.
Buzz, don't be a moron. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, half in this van, half in this van. Let's go. Have a good trip. Bring me back something French.
All right, and your final movie.
He thinks I'm some stupid thing. He does. Well, I didn't ask to get made. I didn't ask to be torn apart and put back together over and over and turned into some little monster. Rocket, no one's calling you a monster.
All right, let's go back to the first movie.
She was very beautiful.
Laurel, what movie is that?
That is Star Wars, obviously. Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi?
Or New Hope. I can see it in my brain.
Paul Cross, what movie
It's
is
Return of the Jedi, yeah.
Paul Cross. I can't hear you.
Turn your mic
Sorry,
on.
there's that Radio 101. I got to turn my mic on again. I think that's Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi? Greg Rhodes.
I think it's even later, 7, 8, 9.
I didn't even have a guess.
It's Return of the Jedi.
Oh, is it? Okay.
All right. Sorry, are you losing interest? Are we losing you here, Paul?
Are we still playing? I didn't know that.
Is the radio still on? Here's your next movie.
Rose, get into the boat.
All right, what movie is that, Laurel?
Titanic?
Paul Cross.
Titanic.
Greg Rhodes.
That was Titanic.
It was Titanic. Your third movie.
1, 2,
11,
3,
92,
4, 5.
12.
Laurel, what movie is that?
I don't know.
Paul Cross, what movie is that?
Home Alone.
Greg Rhodes, what movie is that?
No guess.
Paul Cross is right. It's Home Alone. Here's your last movie.
He thinks I'm some stupid thing. He does.
What movie is that, Laurel?
Oh, Rocket. It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Paul Cross.
I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Greg Rhodes.
Is that the new one, though? Is that Guardians 3?
It's Guardians of the Galaxy, the original one.
Okay, so
I'm going to assume Paul Cross got the most right. How many did you get right, Paul?
Paul took it on that last round.
Yeah, we don't have time to count.
16.
16. Laura, how many did you get right?
12.
Okay, Greg, how many did you get right?
14.
All right. Congratulations, Paul Cross. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you back here Monday, 5 till 7, right here on WDBO.
It's easy to lose sleep when you're worried about your health insurance plan. But when you have a family counting on you to take care of them, having the right coverage is more important than ever. Anthem Health Keepers plans can help. With low to no cost coverage for you and your family, so you never go it alone. That's our Anthem. Click to learn more.